Hey there guys, as we promised we are back with the second part of our camera comparison between the Samsung Galaxy A8 and the Sony Xperia XA2 Ultra, this time in low light. Enjoy! Starting with 1080p videos, there is something seriously wrong with Sony's recording in low light. Even if it manages a better and brighter exposure than the Galaxy phone, half of the video is off focus, making it too soft and blurry. Also, there is some nasty frame tearing from the EIS. Samsung does a much better job, even if it has a darker exposure and some slight focusing issues also. Main front camera video footage is also better on the Samsung phone. This time it even does a better job with exposure, keeping my face well lit without overblowing the environment behind me. Sony again has focusing issues, and just like in daylight selfie photos, the entire video is too soft. It's worth mentioning that at least Sony has a wider field of view for the main camera. With the wide cameras, both phones are sharp with no focusing issues. but this time Samsung wins the comparison with a better exposure and truer to life colors. Sony has the upper hand in the video stabilization, but it cancels the wide field of view advantage by cropping the frame for better EIS. All in all, Samsung does a better job in video recording with all three cameras. 4K might be the only advantage Sony has over Samsung, but in low light I don't think it would make much difference. Okay, we're back to the photo comparison, and just like in daylight video, there is no absolute winner between the two phones. In some instances, Sony does a better job, in other instances, Samsung does. I want to mention that in all photos of this test, Sony constantly delivered better, more natural colors. So let's start with 4 sets of photos where the XA2 Ultra outperforms the Galaxy A8. In the flower photo, both have almost the same level of detail, low noise, but Sony wins in dynamic range, Samsung clipping too much of the highlights. In other situations, you will find Sony managed to pull even more detail and sharpness out of the scene, even if it usually uses a higher ISO and should come with more noise. We found the middle ground with this photo, where I can't decide which phone is better. Both phones messed up the color tones, Samsung has slightly more noise, but nothing too serious. Sony's photo is also a little soft. But going into more extreme low light situations, Samsung manages to shoot better photos, and here are 3 examples of that. In these pictures we see Sony having a way softer image, maybe because of the noise reduction algorithm being too aggressive. Samsung photos are sharper with more detail, and even if they have slightly more noise to them. Also the Galaxy phone manages to get better exposure, Sony photos being either too dark or too bright. The only thing XA2 Ultra has going for it is color accuracy, which is much better than Samsung's. Both phones have front-facing flash, the Galaxy uses its screen to light up the subject, and the Sony uses a LED flash. As we can see, LED flash for front-facing cameras is sometimes overkill. In Sony's case, it manages to overexpose my skin tones, clipping the highlights. Samsung does a better job, giving it enough light to correctly expose my face. Also, as expected, Sony's photo is way softer, with less details. In the wide camera comparison, we again see Sony overexposing, but this time to a lesser degree. Samsung slightly underexposes with its camera, and now you'll find both phones delivering similar levels of details. This was it for our comparison video in low light between the Galaxy A8 and the Sony XA2 Ultra. If you liked it, don't forget to support us by sharing it with your friends. Until our next video, this is Pixel Peepers signing out.